Welcome to another episode of Love Notes.
All nurses to the nurses station.
This is Taquita Love, a nurse and a comedian.
You think you could bring your brother the clear machine home? You know, the reviver.
And I'm talking to my funny friends about medical mishaps.
Clear!
You are listening to Love Notes.
Hey, what's up? It's Taquita Love, and you're here on another episode of Love Notes. I'm here with my friend, comedian, actor, pretty much just like all-around content creator,
Holla.
Bileko Wissa.
Yes, Bileko Wissa. Yes, I'm here.
Thank you for coming.
No, thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining.
I'm so impressed with you.
Thank you.
This is outstanding.
Okay.
The fact you're able to allow me to come here. Hopefully I don't devalue your podcast.
Oh, don't do that.
I know.
Don't come talking negative.
I know, right? Yeah. But yeah, I do everything. Like, I think you have to in this, in this era of entertainment, you have to do everything.
Yeah.
It forces you to.
You're right.
Yeah.
I agree. I wanted to, I know we met through the sketch improv world.
Yeah. I was at UCB.
Yeah. I know that you were like filming and taping a lot of sketches.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
So tell me give us a background story, like where you from, and then tell me your journey into comedy. Like, how'd you get to being funny and creating content?
Gosh, first, so much. No, I'm from Los Angeles, but my family's from Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo. So my family moved here like in the late 70s. Of course, I was born here, so I don't have the accent, but I still speak in one of the languages, Lingala or whatever. I was raised to become a doctor, but I think art chooses you rather than you choose art or whatever. So I always think out of the right side of my brain, even though like when it comes to academia and scholastically, like I was always fine with the left side. But I got into comedy like in 2008, 9. I remember being in college and undergrad watching like Dave Chappelle, and remember For What It's Worth, where he wore that like Zaire shirt or whatever with Muhammad Ali on it. So that's the name of our country before. And I was like, wow, Zaire. Like, that's kind of cool, Muhammad Ali. Then I did research on Dave Chappelle, and his mom speaks Lingala.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, man. So for some odd reason, I was like, hey, I think I can be funny. People say I'm funny. So maybe that's like a sign from God or whatever. Right? Got into comedy. First place I did comedy was a Ha Cafe or whatever. Trash.
What's where?
Ha Cafe.
Okay.
Yeah, first show, I wore a suit, a tie, and like a blazer and everything.
But what did you do before?
Oh, before that. Okay, so prior to me doing comedy, I have a master's in biomedical science and I have a master's in public health. So I did research.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's a whole thing. Like I like doing
Which
research.
is probably why you wore the suit on stage.
Yeah. Right.
Like,
well, comedy's a job. I have to be professional.
I'm going to work and
Right.
I gotta just make sure I look the part.
I remember my cousins looking at me in the crowd. I had two cousins that come and they're like, why are you wearing a tie on stage? Comedy's not that kind of business. But I was like, I'm being professional. You have to tell jokes professionally or whatever, right? But that's a part of the journey or whatever. So to create I don't know, I did comedy or whatever. I got into improv, did sketch, and improv was very great because it was very supportive. But with comedy, I think what helps comedy is living life. I was in a comedy club 7 days a week, just living in it. But you don't grow as a person. So I got all depressed, and there was a bunch of like bad stuff that was happening. Like I get on Jimmy Kimmel Live, I'll do a sketch, it wouldn't be aired. And I was like, why is this happening to me? And
I had one that wasn't aired too.
Right. You know what I'm saying? And I think like, not to say I'm like a genius, but when you're you feel like you're a creative genius and like bad stuff happens to you, it's like, I'm great, this should happen. But it's like there's other factors that have nothing to do with you. So I got all depressed, sad, and I like stopped comedy for like 2.5 years.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I like regained my
Stop
confidence.
comedy meaning like did nothing?
I did nothing, but I would always write. That's the whole thing I'm saying with the right side of your brain. When you're creative, like, you can't help it. So like I would write songs, and it's weird in that 2.5 year period, me, my sister, and my cousin Keenan, Keenan Baker, we developed this series called FeeWee Helms where I play a rapper. So now I know how to rap.
Because of that 2 year break?
Yeah, because you guys just like struggle and you get all depressed. So now like
he's like, how could I tap into my inner?
Right.
You know what? I gotta do bars.
Goon Squad,
I gotta
bang. Right. No, for real. So we have the mixtape's coming out next month, and so
you came on here to drop your mixtape. That's what you did.
Pretty much trying to do the N-word thing. Yep. My rap name is B Strokes. Keenan K Key, Swag the mixtape, and then in 2 months we're gonna release the album, Swag the album.
I can't wait to hear. I can't see. I can't, but I can.
Oh no! Yeah. Oh, you're gonna love it. We shot a video yesterday with Dion.
Okay.
Yeah. So we got. I don't know. Like I think in that 2 year break is like I realized you have one life.
Yeah.
If you're creative, do whatever. Don't hold yourself down and be like, well, I think I can write a book. Write a book.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, do it. And guess what? Your book might be probably better than you think, and it could probably touch more people than you think. So, yeah. So that's how I got here.
It's a comedy.
Yeah.
And then what you working on now? I know you dropped the mixtape.
Okay, so I'm dropping the mixtape. There's gonna be some bars for you niggas. I'm telling you, you'll be so upset. How's this comedian with bars? So we have that. I have a monthly show at Westside Comedy Theater called The Takeover. It's the last Saturday of every month at 11:30. We'll put like dope comedians, and we will have Miss Taquita Love on one of our shows as soon as possible. Yeah, we're also trying to put The Takeover at Flappers. So we have the first show in September. I think the 28th or whatever, the last Thursday or whatever. We're trying to figure it out. Or whatever. I got to ask my assistant what day it is.
Assistant.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I just wanted to sound real bougie and elitist. Look at this place. I want to sound better than I actually am. No, and then with me and Keenan, we have this series, FeeWee Helms, which is played by my sister, Bileko Wissa. We're about to do the pilot. And then, like I said, I'm from the Congo, right? So there's a huge market out there in the diaspora that I think like Africans and African Americans need to tap into, because English is spoken in every time zone. So I started this group with my cousin and a Congolese comedian called Bantu Boyz. And Bantu in Lingala means like we the people are our people. So we have sketches. We're actually shooting, we're partnering with this Congolese director, and we're shooting like a series called In the Meeting Room right now.
Okay.
And we have this series called Zella, which is kind of like taxi cab confessionals, but from like a Congolese perspective. So like a lot of Africans will move here to America and they'll be like, I'm a chief back home. You know, I'm a prince. But when they come here, they're Uber drivers. Right? So you're so funny. Your eyes are so funny.
What? I didn't say anything.
No. It's like you got an undertone. No, but like, so we're trying to like, we're going to do like a little, tell stories of what like Congolese drivers go through. It's like pretty much, it's like a satire. It's like taxi cab confessionals.
Okay. That sounds dope.
Yeah. So we're going to have like a bunch of like our comedy buddies like in it or whatever. And there's another series we're working on called Tata Zinga. So it's like Father Zinga, which is like, so Zinga, fun fact, in Congo, my ethnicity is Bakongo, right? But Zinga is my clan name. So like, all me and my cousins, our clan is like Zinga. Like we're the Zinga crowd or whatever, right? So this series is about pretty much like my life, like how I got these 2 masters. I didn't go to medical school, and my uncle's like pissed off. Like, you know you're a failure. You don't want to become a doctor. Why do you want to become a comedian? You know what I'm saying? It's like, because comedy makes me happy. Happiness. This boy is stupid. So, you know what I mean? Like, until I make it, then like I'm a failure. You know, because money.
To your family.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I feel like every family's like that.
Oh yeah, I'm a failure.
Depends on what making it is to them.
I was at a family reunion. My uncle was like, the boy, he only has 2 masters. I was like, yeah.
Is he being sarcastic? Because 2 masters. I'm like, you did it. You made it.
Yeah. Oh, and it was intensive, but back-to-back years. Oh, it was going crazy. Look, when I defended my thesis that night, my girlfriend took me to a 2 Chainz concert, and I fainted at the concert.
From exhaustion?
From exhaustion. Because my mentor was like Suge Knight. This lady was off the hook. She was a medical geneticist. So she would be like, Blake, I need my thesis at 7. So when I would email it to her at 7:01, she would call me. Why were you a minute late? And I was like, what are you talking about? It's at 7:01.
Yeah, she was like Suge Knight.
No, just like, but I needed her. Because during that, because like, I was so lazy. See, as a comic, like, as a talent, we get lazy. Because like, average people work 40 hours a week, right? But as a stand-up comedian, what do you do stand-up for? Like, you would say a good week might be 4 hours if you had a good week. Like, maybe say you have like 3 shows where you do 45 minutes, right? So we're
performing.
Lazy. Yeah, performing.
But there's so much more to come than just performing.
Very true. But nobody does 40 hours a week of like art. Like, you don't do 40 hours a week.
That's a nice goal.
No, right?
To be on set all day.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So we're kind of lazy. So this lady, she knew, you're smart, so you get away with it. It's not going to work here. All right. So she toughened me out. That's why, like, when I got back into comedy the past, like, 3 years, I was like, well, what's harder? Medical genetics, Suge Knight, or comedy? And comedy's fun. You know what I mean? Like, so it gives you a lot of confidence. Like, I think in this field, you need, like, confidence. Because you're going to deal with more failures. There's more failures people don't know. You bomb at shows. I've had top-notch comedians say, I just bombed this last show. I'm like, I can't picture you bombing. Yeah. But it happens. Sometimes the crowd doesn't feel you. You're not giving them what you want. You're not listening. You're not in the moment. Whole thing.
What's the worst bomb you had?
Worst bomb? Oh, this is great. I started out doing comedy. I met this like fake manager in South LA, and it was at this like weird like hotel or whatever, and there was some dude in the crowd. I was talking about ninjas or something like that, and there was like, I don't know, some Cripper blood in the crowd. He was like, man, this nigga shucks, man, get this nigga off the stage or whatever. And I was so nervous because I think he had a piece, you know what I mean? So I was like, he's gonna do something to me.
So you were scared?
I was scared as hell.
Okay.
Yeah. But I didn't,
nothing happen though, right?
No. He was cool. Like, he was cool. He was just like ignoring me. He was like, man, this nigga
Oh
right
my
here.
goodness, I've bombed. Like I feel like that was a bomb.
Yeah, it was a bomb. Nobody was laughing.
But the fake manager.
Oh yeah, the whole thing, fake manager. She was like, man, I got this really great show, great opportunity. There was some lady at the end of it that had like, I don't know, she had like pot. She did a character where she put her feet into like a pot. It was like a whole thing. I was like, where am I? When you look back at it, I'm like, why am I here? Yeah, but. Oh, I remember I had a bomb. I was in San Diego with Keenan and Tony Baker, and there was like, I think it was like an AKA event or whatever. I went there on stage and I said my first joke.
Now that's one I want to hear about. It's not always glorious as a comedian.
No, hell no.
A bomb that you had with comedians that I know and respect, Tony Baker and Keenan Baker.
It was Tony Baker, Keenan Baker, Brandon Lewis, and Chaz. Right. First of all, I hate Chaz. I hope he knows that. But we're in San Diego. It was a show for like AKAs or something like that or whatever. It was a room full of AKAs. And I went up first. And let me say, they were not feeling this, but they definitely weren't feeling me, right? You know when a comedian's really not confident in his material, when he gets there on stage, he starts dancing. So I started dancing. So they're like, oh, go, boy, go. And I said my first joke card ever. You could hear a pin drop. You can hear people's thoughts. You can hear girls' like edges and weaves move or something like that. So when I said this joke and they weren't feeling it, they were like to the left of me at the bottom, and I looked at them to the left and I grabbed my collar. They were rolling. They're like, this guy's going to take the bomb. So I was like, all right, I'm going to take this bomb. So I try to go person to person. You know, sometimes when you're not doing well, you
try to go in the audience.
Go to the audience.
Just work some crowd.
There was some black girl in the back. Tell jokes, nigga. Like, I was like, they were not feeling us. Let me tell you something. Black people are great. When they love you, they're with you. But if they don't like you or they smell that weakness, like...
Yeah, you
like,
can't have no fear.
Oh, no. Hell no.
Not at all.
Hell no. No. But they get you tougher, though. But that was great. I remember when we were outside after the show or whatever. And Tony's real cool.
Wait. You just skipped out. So did you finish your set? Like,
No,
how did you get out of it? Did they actually stand up and boo you, or did you just...
No, they didn't boo. There was no laughs. Remember that portion of Coming to America when Randy Watson was singing and that one black lady was in the crowd? They were all just like looking. Yeah,
like
that's what it was.
Yeah,
just appalled. They're like, why is it? What? And it's funny because one of my first jokes. No, I'm thinking back now. I remember they were with me after the dance because I said, yeah, my ex-girlfriend was this SG Row, and they're like, boo, boo. And I was like, yeah, I need a room, like AKA. So I had them for like 2 minutes. But I don't remember the following joke. It just didn't work. And I think I said something. No, I remember what I said something about Kobe, how I look like Kobe. And we're in San Diego. I guess they were feeling it. I don't know. And I looked at Tony and looked at Keenan, and they were like, I just remember the look on this, especially Keenan, because Keenan knows me because we've grown up together. So the Keenan just started dying laughing. I was like, oh boy. Let me tell you, those bombs are rough.
But, I mean, you got off stage?
Oh, yeah, I got off stage.
Quick?
Oh, real fast.
You didn't wait for the light?
No. Oh, I did 5 minutes.
Oh,
no. No.
You didn't sit it and then take it?
No, I was trying to holler a couple of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was trying to get it.
You know the way to do that is to get out of that bomb and be funny. You know, like if you could weave out of that and be like, nah, I got you. Then
I cared too much at that time, Taquita. I cared too much. But then it's funny because like after we were sitting in the front and like the whatever festival was over or whatever. No, wait, there was a comic from San Diego they had. And this comic from San Diego, let me tell you, he had some black identity issues. Because when he went up and they weren't feeling him, he was like, man, I don't like black women anyway.
Sound like an appropriate show.
Let me
Brothers be, you ain't trying to holler?
Hey, let me tell you something,
like you
man. That's exactly what he said. He was like, I don't like y'all either. And we're sitting there like, yo, like, just take the bomb. Don't be like disingenuous or disrespectful or whatever. We all bomb. And it was like, it was great to bomb. I was like, oh, this is humbling. Because that's all it is.
My bomb was not great.
What kind of bomb did you have?
I had I bombed at a corporate gig, and I was with comedians that I really respected. I think it was Sean Grant, Nico Williams, Jesus Sepulveda, and I did a rookie mistake where I didn't like warm the crowd up. I didn't like interact with them. I just got on stage and was like, joke 1,
right.
joke 2. They was not feeling me at all. Yeah, I did my jokes. It was so painful. I wanted to leave so bad. I got back to the table where the comedians were sitting, and it was like, almost like it was formal.
Yeah.
And so like I sat down, and I think Sean Grant was to the right of me, and like nobody at the table looked at me. Now that's when you bomb. When you get back there, nobody looked at me. And then Sean turned around. He turned his back to me. He said, "I don't want none of that on me." He's like, "Don't even bring that whatever that is over here." And then I had to stay the whole night because I got to wait to get paid. And you got to sit in it. You got to smile in people's faces, right? Everybody walking past all the other comedians saying, "Oh, that was so dope. You killed it. You killed it.
And they go
You
right
killed
over
it."
you.
And it's just like, that's how, I didn't know that, like you got to warm them up and do all the crowd work. But then I thought about it in hindsight. I'm like, I'm being a nurse. It's like when I come to somebody's room, I don't be like, "Hey, here go your shot." Bam.
Yeah.
That's what I did to them. I went in there. I was like, "Hey, here go your jokes." Bam. And no, you got to be like, "Hey,
That's
how
a really
are
great.
you? I'm Taquita. How you feeling?" I got to do all that. So I learned. I still collected the check because you're supposed to.
Yeah, you're supposed to. Get
But
that
I felt
bread.
bad. I did feel bad. I felt bad because I'm like, I wasn't funny tonight.
Yeah.
But
Isn't it amazing how there's other factors in comedy? Like, so I have a show at West Side Comedy Theater, and I work there on Fridays, and I remember David Allen Greer asked the owner, sorry to name drop, but he asked the owner if he can have the bathroom light closed. Like in the corner, there's a bathroom light there. And he was like, and the owner was like, "Oh, well, we leave that light open so people can go to the bathroom." But he's like, "I want it completely dark so the audience can focus on me." In comedy, there's like a relationship with you and the audience. Like, your joke is only as good as an audience that's attentive. You know what I'm saying? That wants to hear it. It's amazing how you're like, "Hey, I got to open them up and be like, 'Hi, how are you doing?' Like a nice
You're
intro."
supposed to. I remember getting off stage, and I think the first thing I said when I sat down is like, "I wish I could have clicked my heels and been somewhere else." And then, but that's me in my natural state. And then Sean G, he was like, "You should have said that on stage," because that would have been funny.
Right.
And then you would have got him back.
Yeah.
And so the journey is like you do it, you bump your head and you learn, but you keep going. So like, your bomb, and I not in a disrespectful way, but
No,
I
go
hope
ahead.
I hope you have a better bomb.
Yeah, oh
Meaning
yeah.
like one where you gotta feel it like I had to feel it.
No, let me tell you something. Like, I run a mic in Inglewood, Mingles T-Bar. You guys should come every Friday, 7 to 9, $5. But I remember just the last mic we had, and I was there like hosting, and I think I bombed, and I was just like, "Hey, you guys aren't feeling me. That's okay. I'll bring up the next comic." Like, I'm like, "All right, it's Monday."
Yeah.
Because like now, I don't want to say a vet, but somebody that's in it, there's always another stage. It isn't like hoops, like where it's like a sport where it's like, "Oh, I have to be young," right? You can always continue to just get on stage and get better and figure it out.
So how long have you been doing stand-up?
Over a span of 10 years, but altogether 7 years.
7 years.
Because remember, I
Okay.
took a 2.5 year break.
Nice.
Yeah, we're gonna depressing crap.
Oh.
No, that's all right. I'm better now. I'm strong, way stronger
I'm happy
now.
you're back. Like when I saw you, I was like, I don't know where I saw you. It was in passing, and I was like, "Come do my show." You came.
God bless
killed
you.
It.
You gave me my first show back. Let me tell you something. You saw we were at the improv. It's even then when I was at the improv and I was walking past you, you're like, "Bileko," and I was like, "Yes." I could even tell, like, I was like a little like a puppy with his like tail between his tails. Like, "I'm trying to get back. Nobody look at me. Nobody look at me." Like, you want to do my show? I was like, "All right." I'm so grateful for you.
Good.
That's why I was like, "Hey, you have this podcast. I have to get on."
You here because you was like, "Excuse me, how do I get on that?" And I'm like, "You know me, just come." Like,
Nah, but like when I saw the love notes, I was like, because I saw Keitra on here, and I was like, "Keitra, what's she doing in love notes?" I said, "Is it about health?" I was like, "Oh, I'm all about health. Let's share." You know what I mean? Because people need to know about like health and stuff like that, especially in like Black and Latino communities. Like, I'm telling you, man. Like,
there's a lack of
knowledge.
knowledge, right? And then so I would tell my family, like y'all should donate blood because there's people with cancer that need blood transfusions and stuff like that.
Bone marrow transfer, everything.
It don't make a difference until it affects you, right?
Yeah, but I think like there's a lot of factors. Like, okay, so biomedical research, and I did my master's in public health, but I did urban health disparities, right? So I focused on like people in low socioeconomic and low disadvantaged areas, so like Black Latinos in like South LA. And there's a lot of factors, like when you're African American and first of all, you have to start with the root. The moment Black people got on that boat or ship going to the United States of America or whatever, at the time, the colonies or whatever, there was no health care. There was no Kaiser Permanente on the slave ship. The moment you coughed, you're off the ship. They would feed African Americans like spoiled food. So think about that, what that does to your genetic makeup. over generations, over time. Then you eat bad food once you get here or whatever. Then you have like Henrietta Lacks, Tuskegee. We don't trust the healthcare system.
I think that's definitely true because nobody goes to the doctor unless they are forced to go. And that's just how you grow up. It's like, and even my mama won't go to them. I'm like, I'm a nurse. Go to the doctor, and she won't go.
Right.
They don't go.
Maybe when we come back from break, we'll talk about cultural competency. How like doctors and nurses, they're not culturally inept to deal with that or understand that because they're just coming for a check. Not saying you, but I know you work with I work with geneticists where they're like, I'm just here to just get a check. But it's like, yo, this person's mom is in jail at the hospital in Linwood and the dad's on crack. You can't just treat them like a normal patient.
Yeah.
You have to talk to them differently.
Yeah.
Cultural competency.
What is that?
Oh, this is great. It's about healthcare professionals, whether it's like lab technicians.
They have classes that it's mandatory for us to take in healthcare on like cultural differences and how to deal with different cultures.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
they've been starting it recently, like, 'cause prior they wouldn't, but like there's many other factors. If you're in South LA, like if you're Drew and you're a medical doctor and you have to tell some bad news, to a family that's been with so much pain, you can't talk to them like if you were working at Cedar Sinai. You know what I mean? So
I feel like different cultures respond differently and need different types of energy. Like, yeah, but we're taught to. I know as a healthcare professional, we're taught to deal with people, and like be okay with the different cultures and how they do things. I work in the oncology field. If somebody is, dies or has a way that they transition, people have their own rituals, their own things. Like blood transfusions and stuff. Some people don't get them.
Yeah.
Some people, it's against their religion.
Subcultures, all that.
We're taught to, to be sensitive to.
Right. Yeah. So like healthcare professionals, nurses, doctors, nurse practitioners, even lab technicians, like they need to learn how to deal with patients that come from a different background, whether it's socioeconomic, different cultures. Like for example, if you deal with a foreign man and let's say his wife is sick, you probably won't talk to the patient. You'll talk to the husband. Right. Because if you talk to the wife, that's like disrespect. Like, well, hey, I'm the man. I make the decisions. That's my culture, or whatever. But also too, like if you're dealing with a patient at Cedar Sinai that might have a different socioeconomic status, it's different than if you talk to somebody like King Drew. That's like, my father might be a gang member or dead. My brother's like having problems. Mom might be on crack. It's like how you talk to them differently when you bring them like bad news, or even how you care for them. Yeah. You know what I mean? And a lot of doctors don't know that because it's like. Our healthcare professionals don't know that because they go everything by the book. Rather, it's still a people business. Yeah,
I think me being a nurse, a lot of times that we're able to find that connection and because we have time, like we have more time with the patients, I think, and then there's a relationship that develops between the nurses and the patients that are different than the doctors, and so I definitely agree that there's a need to treat people differently based on what their needs are, which could be socioeconomic or it could be just cultural differences. So I know where I work now, they make us take a class when you first start working at the hospital where it's awesome. Like there's a class on diversity, there's a class on cultural sensitivities, and then also I feel like since I'm always like the only black nurse or the only urban nurse. Urban. They like I always get the ratchet patients, like they always be like, like give her the girl that
to Miss Nurse Love, go do the thing you do.
I remember I went to work one day and there was a girl getting chest compressions, and why do I gotta tag somebody out and tag in on chest compressions? I feel like they not done at work. They should finish that task.
Yeah, there's a lot of factors, and like. We're talking. No, okay. Now my brain's buffering. Not buffering, but now it's coming back. Remember, we're talking about like Henrietta Lacks, Tuskegee. Like, there's other factors before a patient goes to a hospital or a patient deals with a healthcare professional in any field, right? Like the socioeconomic injustices Black people go through. So like Black people have to even deal with environmental racism, right? Where Black people always live by a freeway.
Explain environmental racism.
So like all Black people live in major cities live by a freeway. And if you live by a freeway, you have a higher chance of you like getting chronic heart disease, Cortisone levels are
because
increased.
of the exhaust,
The
explosion?
smog. People throw trash by the freeway.
Okay.
And then even because of the freeway, homeless people live by the freeway. They don't have the best hygiene. You have hepatitis C. I don't know. Like we're here in LA, there's an increase of what rat population.
Yeah, you know what you're talking about.
Right.
You know what you're talking. You came to drop knowledge.
No,
You ain't-
I came to do research. I was like, oh, we're gonna do some science. I love it, right? But no, like there's other factors. Like for example, there's a study like I think in 2012 or something like that where if you live in South LA, so South LA is broken up to different like planning areas, like service planning areas, spas or whatever, right? So South Central LA, Spa 6, that'll be like Watts, Inglewood, Compton or whatever. You will live 13 years less than somebody that lives in Santa Monica. And that with no traffic, that's a 10-minute drive.
I agree with that. But then you got to pay so much more to live in those areas.
Right.
It's like it's like you're set up to get the worst.
Right, absolutely.
But that's just the way it's been
Food
the
deserts.
entirety.
Right, food
It's
deserts.
always like that. It's kind of like slavery.
Oh yeah.
Slavery. No, I'm saying like slavery.
for real.
We get the last. You get the pig ears and like all the slop or whatever.
Yeah, not even the meat.
Right. But then, but what we do, we always flip it and make it so it worked for us.
Right.
And so regardless of what we do and where we live, we always,
And
make it
that's-
work. And that's the beauty of being, a black woman, being a part of that culture.
Yeah, but still like human essence of just like, longevity and stuff like that. There's other, like even something as simple as like non-communicable diseases and communicable diseases, right? Mm-hmm. So like non-communicable diseases are just diseases that can't be transferred over. So it'll be like heart disease, diabetes. Well, diabetes can be a communicable disease that can be transferred from person to person. Like, if your mom is diabetic, you have a higher chance because you probably eat as bad as her. So you develop
And it's
it.
also genetics, though. It's genetics
Yeah.
and lifestyle.
Right.
But some cultures are prone to get certain diseases
Right.
because of their genetics and the lifestyle based on socioeconomical.
Right, statuses. But like, for example, like heart disease, stroke, like pulmonary disease, respiratory infection and stuff like that. Like we have a higher chance of getting it. Not higher than our like white counterparts, but we will die at a higher rate. Because we're afraid of going to the hospital. Yeah. I ain't going to the fucking doctor.
Everybody, you're the third person on here. Don't nobody go to the doctor.
Right.
Black people, we don't go.
Right.
For one, we don't want that bill. For two, we think that whatever our home remedy is could fix it.
Right.
It's like, just throw some water. What I can't remember was just throw some water on that.
Stop crying, stuff like
Yeah.
that. Don't be weak. But it's just like, in other cultures, if they get a light cough, I'm going to the doctor.
Yeah.
Because I have insurance for it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I don't know how we can untrain it. I remember, you emailed me and you said, how can we like change it or whatever? I think like if you get the right type of sponsors to, you're so funny. If you get the right type of sponsors to bring noise to it, like, so when I was in grad school, I worked on HPV and HIV co-infection, and I worked on like, have you heard of highly active antiretroviral therapy?
No.
So like whenever a person has like HIV or whatever, when you get HIV, the HIV infection or whatever, you have to get on this therapy, which is like 5 medications that it controls the viral load. So you never get rid of HIV. You just
Control the way that it
yeah. So it
works.
doesn't multiply or whatever, right? So when you're on when you're on heart therapy or whatever, there's. Damn, I lost my train of thought. I was tagging my name. What were we talking about? Oh, yeah, right. Wait, no. Heart therapy, HIV. Damn it, my brain's buffering. Hold on, Taquita. I was just trying to make sure I was being tagged right. Hold on. Pause. We said cultural competency. We talked about, going to the doctor. Yeah. So, like, go ahead. So you interrupt me.
No, I wanted to ask you, if you had any
Yes, ma'am.
unexpected trips to the emergency room.
Never.
Tell me, no?
No, only when I was like 17 when I broke my wrist. Like I broke my left wrist and I fractured my right wrist. And I went to the doctor and they were like, "Oh, your wrist is broken." I was like, "Wait, what?"
How did that happen?
I was in high school. Went up for a dunk in basketball. Got low bridge by some nigga named Daryl. Fuck you, Daryl.
Oh shoot!
And I fell and broke my wrist. And I remember yelling, screaming. And my cousin Ricky was like, "Why is this guy yelling and screaming?" So it was Friday. Came back over the weekend. My left wrist was broken. I went to basketball practice playing with one wrist all week. Then I was like, something's wrong with my wrist. So that Friday, I go to the doctor. They're like, you broke your wrist. So I was in a cast for like a year and a half. I was so upset. My career was over.
Your basketball career?
It was over. It was done.
Because of that dunk? Did you get the dunk?
No,
did it go in?
No, it didn't go in. I got low bridge. Nigga Daryl, man, fuck. It's amazing the domino effect. Because
I wonder where Daryl is today.
That nigga Daryl's in South LA with some kids and shit. But like,
oh well.
I mean, he's doing his thing, but like, fuck Daryl. If that never would have happened,
I feel like everybody is just giving shout outs to people they don't like.
Yeah, fuck that nigga. I mean, I love Daryl, but like, man, like, if I never got low bridge, we would have been a higher seed. We probably played Westchester in high school finals. We probably get smoked by Westchester. Trevor Ariza was on that team, but maybe like some Ricky got a scholarship. Maybe Ray would have got a scholarship. Fuck, man.
It's all because you didn't make that doggone.
No, I
should
have.
You dunk. You ain't make that dunk.
I like how you dunk.
I feel like this how you had to dunk to land on the floor like that.
No, I went up with one hand, but I was like, I was jumping so high with my 33-inch vertical.
I like how you came. You was like, you know what? What's the socioeconomic?
Yeah, well, you have to come prepared.
Yeah, you came with it.
Yeah, because it was like love notes, and I saw what's this called?
The stethoscope.
I saw the stethoscope.
You need to know what a stethoscope is. If everybody in your family, you have to know that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I was a nurse's aide when I was like 18.
I didn't know that. Tell me about that.
Oh man, Taquita, I worked at a rehab center for 3 years. I was a nurse's aide, and the patients, bipolar, schizophrenic, HIV, HPV, cancer, even people that were just
HPV.
HPV, yeah.
HPV put people in the therapist.
No, but like if you get HPV induced like cancer, so you're like penile cancer, anal,
you're right. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Even throat cancer. Fun fact, Michael Douglas.
I remember that.
Remember he was like,
he divorced his wife, right?
Yeah, he's like, I got cancer from oral sex, and people were laughing at him. I was like, no, this HPV.
Man, I had another guest. He was concerned about catching something from oral sex.
Oh yeah.
He went to the ER about it, and it wasn't.
Because there's like high risk HPV, but there's like low risk. So like low risk HPV, like it'll look like a wart. It can look like acne. Yeah. So these dudes be eating out these girls or whatever, and girls be sucking these niggas' dicks where it be like look like acne or whatever. Yeah. No, for real. I'm sorry, like for real. And they'd be like, "Oh, you just need to clean it, baby." It's like, no, this nigga has like low risk HPV, and they just take care of it. It develops and mutates, and now you got high risk HPV. And then it's like, oh man, I got penile cancer, and
that's sad.
Yeah,
that's sad. Yeah, I guess the point would be just to wrap it up then. If people would follow that.
No, because even if you use a condom, you can still get HPV from skin to skin contact. But it's like if you take care of yourself, because we all have HPV. If you've had sex, you have HPV.
I agree with that.
Yeah, everybody
got it.
Everybody has it. But if you take care of yourself, you have low risk. But if
look at him on the couch looking like, he looking like, is that true?
Look, everybody has it. But if you take care of yourself, you work out, you eat well, you're not promiscuous. You know what I'm saying? It's dormant. Like it won't like come like. You won't deal with like the effects of like HPV because HPV has the same mode of transmission as HIV. So a lot of like women that have HIV, they die of HPV induced cancers. Like something like 80% or something like that. So it's like, you have to take care of yourself, man. Like, look,
that's crazy.
Like, I understand. Look, I know niggas want to fuck all these bitches and shit like that, and everybody wants to like have all this sex, but you have to be very, very careful.
Yeah, I agree. You should take care of yourself and take care of your body and be responsible.
Yeah, there's the reason why there's moderation. Like, don't get it to like. I remember an ex called me years ago, and she was like, "I know you know about HPV. Could you help me out?" I was like, "Well, what's wrong?" She was like,
HPV?
She had early cervical cancer cells developing around her vulva. Yeah. So I put her in contact with my mentor. I was like, "Hey, you need to do this or whatever."
Okay.
Yeah. So always get a check.
Take care of yourself. Everybody take care of themselves.
Always get
checked
hey,
out.
Look, you know it's one way to know you have HPV. Your booty be itching. So dudes that be like, oh, my ass itches. All right, I was like, hey, you better check it out, brother.
Oh my goodness, look at you dropping Bileko.
You check it out, brother. You gotta
just dropped all the hints, brothers and sisters. Yeah. Check yourself out for all this stuff out here.
Scratch your scrotum. My scrotum itches. Yeah, you have a little HPV.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. I have to research this before
I'm trying to tell you. True. I'll give you my thesis. Yeah. What do you want?
So we have to wrap up this episode of Love Notes. You have been amazing. I'm so happy you came to share all of your knowledge.